from 1980, when he was just a boy around them in 1980. You know what I mean? Around WWC, hung out. I was only there for about 6 months that time because Butch went home to try and put his marriage together. His wife was giving him the bye-bye story. So I was only there for 6 months, but then when I came back as booker in 84, the end of 84, 85, Victor was 10% of the company then. And he was refereeing, you know, with WCW.
Yeah.
And that, so I was, you know, he was in the, you know, running around helping in the office because he was part of the office and that. And I was in the office there. I had a room. The Invader was my assistant. He was my assistant booker, which I don't think he liked too much. Yeah, but that was the way it was. Carlos brought me in because I brought Carlos into Texas a lot when I was the booker there for Joe Blanchard, Tully Blanchard's father, you know, the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
I was a booker there, and I bought it. Abdullah was my top heel, and that in and out, and I bought, and of course, I got footage from Carlos, and I bought Carlos in quite a bit because I ran footage of him and Abdullah. So he brought me in, and I was doing good. You know, we were doing good business in Texas. So he brought me as a booker there for WWC. So I'd known Victor a long time. And Victor, after the Brody incident, Victor left that office and that in 88, and he went to Japan, as you know, and he opened up, you know, they opened up Wings first with a Japanese promoter, a company called Wings. He was a silent partner in it, I guess, or however, partner in it. And that, and of course, Terry Funk, Mick Foley, and all them worked for him over there because he had all the ECW guys working for him over there. And then he opened up IWA over there. And then he came back here in 1999 or 1988, and he became a booker for the Latinos and Japanese wrestlers for WWE or WWF, whatever it was, WWE. He's the one that booked all the Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and or South Americans, I should say, and Central America Mexicans, and the Japanese wrestlers. So that's why around the 2000 era, there was about 3 or 4 Japanese wrestlers there around the 200 pound mark, and a lot of Mexican and Puerto Rican. You know, there was, of course, there was Savio came in earlier. There was McGill, and then there was the family. His dad used to be a wrestler beforehand.
Castillo, Huracán.
Castillo, yes, yeah. I met his dad in 1981, in 1972 in Canada. Yeah, it's his dad, Castillo's dad. Anyhow, yeah. So Victor was there. So then when he come back there, and then and 99, late 99, he opened up IWA, ran it through there, and I was talking to him all the time. And then 201, he had Dutch Mantel there as a booker. And in the end of 2000, ran it, the end of 91, he didn't, they started just doing a few shows, and I think in 90, in 91, he started running 4 or 5 shows, and he had a crew there. And he was too. I think he was with WWE. He was like a training ground for some of the WWE guys. Because he had Tiger Jeet Singh's son. He had quite a few guys there. Come Christmas, 91, there was a big show, right? He brought me in for the 3 big shows that weekend. The Christmas. We're talking about 3 King's Day shows. There's 4 shows that weekend. 3 King's Day was the major, apart from the anniversary weekend. Three Kings weekend was the biggest show in Puerto Rico every year. And by the time Three Kings Day, the 6th of January come, all the Puerto Ricans have been drinking solid since Christmas Day to New Year's Day to Three Kings Day.
Yeah, Reyes.
So they don't need many drinks on Three Kings Day to be wild. So that was a wild weekend, you know. And when I was there booking in the 80s, you know, it was always wild. So I'm there that weekend. He brings me in that weekend and that to work for them. Then right after that, or right before that, right after that, in that January, something happened in the office and Dutch Mantel left for a while, right? Left. And Victor brought me in straight away. And hence I started come booking. But that weekend, on the Three Kings weekend, Dutch did a hell of an angle, which he'd been building for a hell of a long time, between Ricky, Banderas, Shane, Apollo, were the main guys there.
Yeah.
Not with any of the overseas guys. They're all baby faces, but they're all in a different field. None of them liked each other. They would fight each other for position. You understand?
Yeah.
And I think Polo was more heel than a baby face. That he was in the grey. But Shane was loved and Ricky was loved. And then that weekend, that's when he got them to unite. What's the word in unite in Spanish?
Union, or but they started screaming "Únete." That people started
unity.
Únete, yeah,
Unity,
they started screaming that.
Unity. And that night, they did the unity thing in the arena, and that in the major show, and then we did it in all the other arenas that weekend. And of course, the people went crazy. And of course, at that time, Victor and Victor the bodyguard and Chicky Star had come in there. And of course, they were the good guys. And of course, they changed heel around the same time. And of course, there was the match. Chicky and Banderas against Chicky and Victor the bodyguard. And of course, the territory caught on fire. So when I come in, it was already on fire. I had to just carry on and keep it going. You know what I mean? Till that thing simmered down, then work on. But meanwhile, while that was simmering down, while that was working, I brought another couple of things up and run with them. But they were right underneath everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was easy to work something underneath because the territory was hot, but you could have it stewing all the time. You know what I mean? Not firing off on all 6 cylinders like the main event was. You know, the other ones were firing on 4 cylinders, 2 cylinders. And here I am, the booker. And when I first came in, I brought another guy in. Butch was in New Zealand, and he had been really sick with a staph infection, and he went back. He had gone back to New Zealand in the end of 91. He got a bad staph infection, and he was in hospital for 3 months. So that's when he hung up his boots and went back to New Zealand to be with his daughters and his grandkids. And so I went down and moved to Puerto Rico. Victor gave me a car and an apartment, and I'm in his office booking.
Aquí estoy otra vez con una pequeña intervención. Menciona que Victor Quiñonez y él eran muy buenos amigos desde los 80. Menciona que Butch regresó a casa en aquel momento dado para intentar solucionar su matrimonio. Víctor trabajó en otros roles de la oficina de WWC. Menciona que el Invader número 1 era el asistente de los Williams en aquel momento dado como libretista, como Booker, y pues a Invader no le gustaba tal vez mucho eso. Menciona que era un Booker también, los Williams en la empresa de Joe Blanchard, y que Abdullah en esa empresa era su rudo principal. Y entre las múltiples cosas que menciona es que después de ese incidente de Bruiser Brody, Victor Quiñonez decide irse a Japón y allá abre el proyecto de Wing. Ahí tenía luchadores como Terry Funk, como Mick Foley, como muchos ex ECW. Y eventualmente Victor Quiñonez llega a WWF, que era la persona encargada de trabajar con el talento latinoamericano y con el talento japonés. Entonces en 99, Quiñonez abre IWA y ellos estaban en pláticas constantes, tanto los Williams como Victor Quiñonez. Tenía a Dodge Mantel en aquel momento, Quiñonez como Booker allí, y pasa algo. Entonces en el 2001, aproximadamente pasadas las Navidades, a 2002 ya estamos entrando, el Día de Reyes, llevaron a Luke Williams como uno de los libretistas. Lo llevaron esa semana. Dodge Mantel ya tenía ese territorio de Puerto Rico de la IWA súper caliente, entonces Luke menciona que fue bastante sencillo trabajar ahí. Él trajo unas cositas que otras, pero ya la realidad es que el territorio estaba caliente. Entonces pasa algo, Dodge Mantel sale de la oficina y se queda entonces Luke Williams a cargo de la producción y el libreto de IWA. Dodge hizo esa historia famosa de Ricky Bandera, Shane the Glamour Boy y el León Apolo, que el famoso Únete, que fue la historia que se estaba trabajando, que inmediatamente también cambiaron a rudos a Víctor de Bodyguard y a Chicky Stark. Entonces cuando él llega, ya el territorio estaba caliente, trajo algunas cosas, pero fue fácil trabajarlo, pues ya que había otras personas que lo habían trabajado anteriormente y ellos lo habían dejado caliente. Y nada, Butch en aquel momento dado, los pastores de Nueva Zelanda, estaba pues, de regreso en casa con sus nietos y con sus hijos y con su familia, que tenía una infección en aquel momento dado y colgó las botas, mientras que Luke Williams se queda en Puerto Rico trabajando como libretista y Victor Quiñonez le puso en sus manos un apartamento y un carro para entonces poder continuar esta travesía. Nos vemos un ratito.
So that was the start of that. And I was right there, right till after his death, which was his death, sad enough, was the morning after an anniversary show. And that night it rained like hell in the stadium, and we only had half an arena full. I think Victor was very disappointed in that, and I don't know, was he partied too hard or not? But you know, instead of having a big crowd there, the crowds weren't like they used to be. But a good crowd was 14 or 15,000 at the time. 16,000, and those baseball stadiums full without seating on the ground. You know what I mean? And so that night, this rain started at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and it was coming in heavy, blowing in sheets, and it was blowing right into the stands. I think it was Bam on. And we only had the people in the stands, and that were covered up. It didn't stop raining until about 9:30. So the first matches were in the rain, and it was sad. And it was a disappointment of that night, and whatever. And in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I got a call to say that he was dead. Now, I was living on the same street. He had converted one of his homes in Carolina, and he was living in Carolina too at the time. He had converted one to his home and one to a house, which he'd put a house to his office, and I was living upstairs, which he'd built upstairs, an apartment. So I got that call, and of course I went down there, and he was dead in his bed, sad.
Volví un poquito antes de lo que pensaba. Luke Williams nos habla del lamentable fallecimiento de Victor Quiñonez, el dueño de la IWA en aquel momento dado. Menciona que la noche anterior llovió mucho y tenían una casa no muy buena en el estadio en Bayamón, pues por la lluvia que empezó a las 5 de la tarde y se acabó como a las 9:30. Entonces las primeras luchas fueron bajo agua. Victor no estaba tal vez del mejor ánimo. no sabe si es que se fue de fiesta demasiado tiempo o qué fue lo que ocurrió. Lo que él sí sabe es que lo llaman a las 8 de la mañana para informarle del lamentable fallecimiento de su jefe y de su gran amigo, Victor Quiñonez. Él vivía en la misma calle que él. Victor Quiñonez puso un apartamento para él en esa misma calle, en uno de sus edificios. Y bueno, Luke menciona que él llega allí y se queda sin palabras. Cuando llegó estaba Victor Quiñonez lamentablemente muerto.